This is a roller coaster of a video that is about the death of Charlie Kirk, as that anniversary is coming up very, very soon. And take a look at this guy right here and the things that he has to say.
I'm actually glad that Charlie Kirk was murdered, but probably not for the reason you think. I was at work when I first found out. A fellow employee had wandered up to me, cell phone in hand, and asked, "Did you hear that Charlie Kirk just got assassinated?" And I, without even a moment's hesitation, responded, "Good! Fuck that Nazi white supremacist piece of shit!" I had never before witnessed such a perfectly blended expression of disgust, disappointment, sadness, and surprise, all through the window of another man's eyes, or experienced a silence so uncomfortable as the one that followed. And although that look on his face now haunts me more and more with each passing day, at the time, it only made me distrustful and upset. But little did I know that the sentence which followed would end up becoming the most profoundly psychologically impactful question that I've ever been confronted with. Have you ever actually watched any of his debates? I decided to end the conversation immediately. This man was clearly a lost cause, one of those intellectually dishonest Kool-Aid drinking types who refuses to engage in good faith with any perspective which contradicts their outstandingly narrow and propagandized worldview. And by this man, I mean me. Because I hadn't actually watched any of his debates. I was basing literally every single thing I believe about a human being with thousands of hours worth of publicly available recordings of himself openly expressing his opinions on a small handful of out-of-context clips that had been curated for me by algorithms and media organizations being funded by the political opposition. I foamed at the mouth, right along with the rest of those rabid and bloodthirsty dogs, gleefully mocking those who had been saddened by his death and downplaying the atrocity of it all by suggesting that political violence is just an unfortunate yet necessary step toward our coveted socialist revolution, that is, until I began to notice a common thread. The exact same comment being repeated ad nauseum in nearly every single online space. Have you ever actually watched any of his debates?
Before we continue, have you guys actually used that, actually asked that before? Like those who are so rabid against Charlie Kirk, like this guy was. That's the one thing that I've seen consistently over and over again, is his experience copy and pasted. These people only seen curated clips that are meant to make him look horrible, but they've never actually watched any of the full footage of Charlie Kirk.
Yes, I have, and I've also applied that with other things, as you know, as I said, like I've said, you know, where they'll go like, all these people are NZs, and I went like, well, have you actually talked to them? So you, over and over again, I'm constantly pointing out these kind of things of like, hey, you're calling for someone's death, which is crazy. Again, the God King Emperor is just a joke, where these people are actually like foaming at the mouth, very, very angry, and I go, okay, hey, well, we don't want violence. Have you just checked? Have you watched this thing? Or have you talked to that person? Have you just engaged with them for a second and said like, hey, when you said this, did you mean it this way? 9 times out of 10, those people will not follow through with it. The ones that do, what do you know? Lo and behold, they have a different perspective. And they may not be changing political sides, which is fine. They don't need to. But they're at least going like, whoa, that was an awakening. I am being clearly lied to, or I'm seeing half-truths here. So I'm constantly doing that.
Let's go and continue here with this guy, because it's about to take a turn.
I didn't think much of it at first. Of course right-wingers are all regurgitating the exact same talking point. They're in a cult. They're brainwashed. It was an ordinary and boring morning on the day I found out that I am a monster. In that moment where my curiosity got the best of me and I decided to click on some random YouTube thumbnail of Charlie Kirk with his goofy and gummy smile in an attempt to reaffirm my preconceived biases. And it was an unusually stressful afternoon on that very same day when I spoke to my father for the first time in years, despite the fact that he had always loved and supported me unconditionally. And it was a never-ending sleepless night, coming to terms with the fact that literally every single thing I thought I hated about the right, the bigotry, stupidity, violence, vitriol, and narrow-mindedness was actually just an outward projection of hatred toward my own self. Charlie Kirk is my hero. He opened my eyes to the cruel and manipulative nature of our political media, brought my family back together, and taught me how to love again. And to anyone who takes issue or offense with that, I'm going to do exactly what he would have done, and challenge you to answer a simple, honest, and straightforward question. Have you ever actually watched any of his debates?
Pretty powerful, and you see the emotion that that guy had, just for the idea that realizing that he had been more or less propagandized and lied to about this guy, and it affected his entire life, his relationship with his father, with his family, and to see the emotion that he felt after realizing this, man, it's a pretty powerful video. It's a pretty powerful 3 minutes, and I wish when you see a video like that, I wish that you could just put it in front of some of these people who have just become so evil, filled with hate.
So evil. Like, that's the thing. I say this on so many episodes. That's the thing I don't understand about that side. We, by definition of sides, we disagree with that side, right? We disagree with the other side. I've heard myself and many people on this panel all say, like, we wish these people no harm. We still want them to have their rights. We want them to be able to speak. We're constantly saying that. And these would be what they're defining us as mortal enemies. I don't understand the rabid hatred, death. Like, I would never, if Joe Biden, who I did not like, when I heard that he had a stroke, I'm like, I think I even put a post out like, hey, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully he gets well. Like, we don't want anyone like dead here. So we've got a twofold problem here of that they're not they're not being subjected to the full context of news. They're seeing one side. And then the other problem is that for whatever reason, they are rabid about it. Like, just like if they had a button that they could just press, like, destroy one side, I think they would. And that's terrifying to me.
They absolutely would press the button and they wouldn't even think about it, which is the even more terrifying part. Like, they have been taught to hate and they would absolutely press the button in a heartbeat.
They hate so much and yet they never question it. That's what's scary. Like, if I'm ever wishing ill upon someone, like to the point of not existent, if I'm really going to think that, I hope to God that I have researched and at least talked to them just to make sure that I understand their viewpoint before I would press a button. Them, it's just nope, click,
Yeah, and that was perfect timing because I was about to get into something similar, which is just that major shout out to that guy for looking into it a little bit. Like, we need more of that. One of the best things you can do, and it's hard if you're coming from a brainwashed spot, but like, no, that's really great that he actually took that to heart when he was asked and reevaluated things. And especially, I hate to say it, the physiognomy, like that dude's one of those guys who need it. So special shout out to him, because that looks like one of those guys who would not do that and would just keep hating and cheering on and be like, hey, it's so cool that Charlie Kirk was killed. Yay, he's a monster. He's all these bad things. But no, he actually took that to heart and changed his opinion by doing research.
I think that's awesome. And let me tell you why I actually do feel a little bit of hope. And let me kind of backtrack to our previous story here that we talked about and the ongoing propaganda war that you're seeing, right? This guy woke up. He woke up despite the AP, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, USA Today, New York Times, Washington Post, all of these media outlets pushing a narrative. And people still have enough common sense to look at that and be like, that's not right. That's wrong. Oh, this guy actually was a good guy. Or he wasn't all these things that they accused him of. That's why I feel like there's hope. That there's a waterfall of just misinformation and propaganda being just shoved down everybody's throat, and people are still rejecting it. That to me is powerful, but you wonder how many people have been broken by that. Going back to 2020, man, that broke a lot of people in a lot of ways. And to see that the steady flow of information coming from all of these outlets, and you still see this guy who recognized that he was wrong. Like, that's powerful to me. And it takes a lot to say, look, I messed up. And the fact that he reached back out, he connected with his family, it's amazing to see.
Always encourage people to be hopeful, with paying attention. Don't get complacent either. But like, I don't think there's any purpose being black-pilled. I think too many people go the other way. I like to say a lot, like I like to bring up that I see things moving in a lot of positive directions, despite how fucked up everything is, because things clearly are fucked up. We're not where we're supposed to be in most metrics, but when you look over like the course of the last decade-ish, I think things are going in the right direction. Like, we've had multiple wake-up moments. We've had things like Gamergate. We've had Trump 1.0. We've had Biden. We've had COVID. We've had Trump 2.0. Like, all of these things, and to your point about the media and it losing power, like, the media was wrong on, let me just check that. Yeah, the media was wrong on like all of those, and that's going to wake more people up. And as I said earlier, you don't need to wake up everyone. You need to wake up enough people to engage with society and change it, and everyone else will then shift sadly without even realizing sometimes. But it's the end result is what matters. Like, we don't need to get everyone alert and engaged. We get enough people alert and engaged, and the other people will be sleeping still, but less destructive to society. They're going to come over to our side. So yeah, don't let up. Don't be like, oh, we win, I don't have to do any work or something, but also don't be hopeless. We're going, we're pushing this. And if you look at the arc over the last decade or so, things are moving in a good direction.
I have hope. I do have hope. I know a lot of people don't. I do have hope. I hope that hope trickles down to other people, which would be a great thing, because hope goes a long way. Hit that subscribe button right here and watch another video right here.